Two. You niggas expect John to do paperwork. Not reasoning well. Two. Yeah, 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 yeah. Two, two, two. One, two, three, four. One, two.
Welcome. I'll be with you in a few seconds. You can take a seat here next to me. Paulo, 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 Paulo. Paulo, what's 390? Why is it so off? Tell them to come sort out their cameras and screens and stuff now. No, they're so busy with those forms of theirs and it's not right. They're supposed to do that in the morning.
Goodrich.
Yo, Gotrich. Guys, let's check on the time, ne? Those forms can wait also, ne? Let's please check on the time.
Godrich. Godrich. Can you guys please let those phones go for now? These things are not even on yet. Sorry, we're trying to settle back in. They have been on the road since last week. We've had to go for the funeral and the Independence Day to go and deliver. But you are welcome to trust you a while and have a good long weekend.
I went to the village.
Very little rest, eh?
Nature.
Yeah. Okay, but it was a good experience.
How? Fine, are you? It's raining throughout.
Yes. No,
Justin,
that's the
when
very
did you-
reason I was trying to but I was so
When did you go?
this is my
Not far away.
Justina Juto kwina kundachi. Kwani sakunisisa kwina kundachi.
Makuvi. Yeah, me, I'm always sensitizing.
I don't even know you sensitizing me yet.
Come on, man, I can't. This is how do I set things in people's
How do you
ears?
insert things
What
in
if
people's
I'm
ears?
living in the.
But it's your yes.
Yeah, I don't usually know this.
You're supposed to have a national information on how far you can go.
Yo, call Justin, man.
Can you guys come sort out these things, please? Not Justine, your people. Ooh, my voice is already gone.
I see, well, you got the costume, because I see mine is going.
No,
Slightly going.
I had to go to a thing. I was in a American region and I got beautifully soaked on fire.
Two.
Is he gonna be seated still? What are you asking? Like getting up again, out of the chair.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Or in the pocket.
Standard was supposed to wear black mask.
Yeah, no, the thingy, the box, I don't know who moved the box. I don't know who moved the box, because John was trying to find the box with the. No, we can't see find it.
Two.
Yes.
Two bars. No.
Yeah,
Let me get the others.
Yeah, but they need to.
But I can't speak to them. So I sometimes use gestures on my camera. So just try and look. And then 80% of your eyes should be on the camera, 3 on the 2, and then 20% can be between myself and the camera. What else was there? You have about, the show takes about 45 minutes. It's a 55-minute show. 10 minutes is for the COVID update. So we have about 45. Sometimes we have 40 minutes. Pardon? The COVID update. Yes, we do the COVID update first. We usually invite viewers to call in the case where they have a question or so. So that might happen as well. So just keep that in the back of your mind somewhere. Other than that, it's not an interrogation in Hage's office. It's a comfortable discussion where you want to add on to something where His Excellency maybe says something and you feel you want to add on, you can do so. You're welcome to do so. Or even if you feel that I left out something or we left out something, you can also just, say it as well. You can add it on. It's a conversation. Remember, at the end of the day, we're trying to communicate with the public. So where we can give as much information as possible in the shortest time period is always appreciated. Any questions you might have? Not so far. Okay. You seem very comfortable. You're used to these platforms. Shame. But thank you for availing your time.
Control room, can we test? Okay, Justine, this box is good. Because remember, guys, I don't have a voice. Oh, my Lord. Okay, this box. Who's controlling this box? It's you guys. Please try and keep it at where it is right now. Because remember, I'm hardly having a voice, so I'm struggling. I need that box. Control room. You left the. Can you tell the control room to start testing sound in my ear, please? Because it seems to be. This is off on the inside.
Good afternoon. Can I have a black mask? Do you have?
Just check with Johanna, please. Because I know she was looking for the small box that had them. Godridge, can you please ask your guys to start speaking to me here? Where's Ronnie? Ronnie. Ronnie, she's there. These guys are not focusing. The one is actually sleeping in one of the offices. That's how exhausted they are. He's like, no, wake me up when the show starts. I've already set up my cameras. Atata. We are not fine. I can't hear them. Is it on here? Inside here? That thingy box? The decker? You still can't find the back mask? Oh. So the whole thingy was removed?
That's fine. I'm.
Okay.
No, I'm fine.
I can't hear zero. I cannot hear them at all. I can't hear anybody. I'm hearing nobody at all. Good morning. This is Good Morning Namibia. How are you doing this morning? I love you too.
Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I can't hear her. Okay. Hmm? What should I do?
Polo. Polo. Tell Grace to talk to Desire. We want to test whether she can hear now.
If she's talking to me, then I still can't hear her. This thing always confuses me. Can I have my first name, please? Today, out of all days, can I have my first name? Good afternoon, doctor. How are you? No, we are well, doctor. We are semi voiceless, but we are well.
Okay.
Yes. We can be heard, but not so clearly, but we are well.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
If you are well, that's fine.
that's what matters. You're familiar with Dr. Kundumo? Kundumo?
Kudumo.
Yes, he's a public policy analyst. I think professionally you are a director with a
Corporate engagement.
corporate
and
engagement.
international
Yes, but
relations.
today he's joining us on his.
Marius,
Yes, yes.
you know these things.
Yes, you can hardly.
Nice people.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'm fine, how are you?
Very good.
but today he's joining us on his personal capacity
Patience, are we ready?
to share his
Matthew,
expertise with us.
not ready.
Yes.
Manager, come on.
Control room, I think I can now finally hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yes, finally.
Are you sure?
Can you hear me? Grace, can you hear me? Grace, can you hear me?
Come on, do it.
Busy setting up Zoom now.
Can you
Okay, how many
hear
minutes do we
me?
have?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, these guys are. about to give
His
us a
Excellency,
countdown.
can we have a full stop after the E for my name is fine, Dr. Marius Kudumo. Thank you. Can we go to His Excellency? Yes, can we have a full stop after the E, please?
We are busy creating.
Guys, and we can't say in Botswana. Hello, can you guys focus? Namibian High Commissioner to Botswana and SADC, or you change it? I need confirmation that you guys can hear what I just said, guys, please. Hello, yes. To Botswana, not in Botswana. I hope I'm not misstepping the English.
No, it's right, you are right.
Yeah,
To
it's supposed to
Botswana
be
and SADC.
to Botswana and SADC. Control room,
Yes, Desire.
Namibian
She
High
can't hear us.
Commissioner
You can hear us.
to
Okay, Mr. Sebastian?
to Botswana and SADC, please.
We can start.
Yes, we can hear you, Desire.
I understand.
He will
Giving
definitely
an
join
update.
us. Yes.
Now, kids, now tell me with your complaints, how are we going to fit that whole
We can
thing there?
start because the minister will still
Who
give
said
the
we should write it
update.
like that?
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. I hear you,
Okay,
but we
perfect.
can't
Please send
fit
it right
all of
away.
that there. So protocol-wise,
Oh, okay. You send it on my email on this phone.
to the Republic of Botswana. Now, add Republic of
Okay.
Botswana.
All right.
Namibian High
Call me
Commissioner
right
to
away.
the Republic of Botswana. You want to most prolong things. Republic of Botswana and SADC. SADC headquarters are in Botswana. Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, let's call the commissioner directly and see what is on his screen. I'm calling him now.
Okay, now can we have his picture?
Right, my dear, it's commissioner. It's here.
Control room, are we doing
Botswana.
I'm done.
But it's written
to
that
Republic of Botswana?
to Botswana. Commissioner, you done? Okay.
Off. Must I say off or to?
No, to the Republic of Botswana.
Remove the republic. It's too long.
It's too long. Republic is too long.
Can you abbreviate or make it shorter? Like just write REP full stop. Instead of writing the whole of Republic out, you just write REP with a full stop.
Yeah?
This is, it's me calling them.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. Did you manage with WhatsApp with this one?
We have 2 minutes, guys.
RP.
They added 5.
Off.
Small EP,
Johnny Namukoda.
full stop.
He's supposed to give us his Zoom things.
Can you call him?
Of small letters, yes. That also works. To the go back. Matthew, quickly go back. Yes, to the commissioner, to the.
Open that phone quick.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes.
Godrich. Floor manager, do you have a cameraman in there?
No,
Just 2 shots.
there's no cameraman in here.
Okay, now I need the cameraman to go and fix the 2 shots. Can I talk to someone? It's not fixed. Who's in there so I can fix the
Matthew,
shot?
there's currently nobody in here.
Okay, I see Godrich is running there.
Okay.
Let me try and see.
Ronnie sabotage.
No, but he went to go get the things for himself. Now when the things are not there, he's blaming us. Yeah, I didn't include him because I know.
Did you guys manage to focus Dr. Kudumo's shot?
I hope he
Huh, Matthew?
say that again?
Did you guys manage to work on Dr. Kudumo's shot?
No, we still can't get
We have a minute.
Excellency on.
Are we doing Zoom or a phone call? Okay. Paula, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm set. It's the other colleagues.
Godrich, sorry. Please close that door. Good afternoon, Namibia and the world, and welcome to another session here at the Government Information Center. My name is Shianwa Desire Kahiha. Today is the 23rd of March, and it is one of those very important days in the calendar, especially that of SADC, not just Namibia as a country, as we are commemorating the annual Southern Africa Liberation Day. But before we get into those discussions with the two panelists that we have to, give us views, perspectives, pardon me, on this particular commemoration, I would like to ask Dr. Kalumbi Shangula to please give us the COVID update. We've been a bit relaxed. We haven't really been focusing on it for the past few days, and we would like to know where our statistics stand. Good afternoon, Doctor.
Thank you very much, moderator. Thank you, distinguished panelists. Today I'm going to give the report of the 22nd of March 2022. We have received 1,313 results in the last 24 hours reporting cycle. And out of those, 7 new positive cases have been detected, which translate into 0.5% positivity ratio. It's made up of 4 females and 3 males. The age range from 39 years to 67 years. They as follow: Khomas 5, all from the Windhoek district; Oshana and Karas 1 each from Oshakati and Luderitz. 3 of the cases, they have received 1 dose of COVID-19 vaccines. 3 are fully vaccinated and 1 has received a booster dose. 12 cases from 4 regions have recovered. From Khomas, we have got 5, Ochodonjupa 3, Karas and Kunene 2 each. The number of active cases is now 178. 11 of those are hospitalized across 4 regions. 1 of the cases which is hospitalized is fully vaccinated, and 10 are not vaccinated. All 4 cases which are in ICU are not vaccinated. We have not recorded any death during the period under review. By the Independence Day, that is the 21st of March 2022, a total of 439,913 people aged 18 years and older have received 1 dose of COVID-19 vaccine, which represent 30% of the target population. 128,852 received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, while 251,408 adults have received 2 doses of other vaccine types. This translates in 380,260 adults who have completed their vaccination schedule, translating into 26% of the target adult population. A total of 128 individuals have received the component 1 of Sputnik, and 76 has received both component 1 and component 2 of the same vaccine. So 204 doses of Sputnik were administered. 10,000 920 children aged 12 and to 17 years have received one dose of Pfizer vaccine, which represent 4% of the children target population. Of these, 3,663 are fully vaccinated. Hence, the cumulative number of people vaccinated with the first dose of COVID-19 vaccines for both adult and children is 450,833, of which 383,923 are fully vaccinated, which gives us 21.6% of the total target population. A total of 35,908 people have received the booster dose. In terms of summary, to date, we have recorded 157,552 cases of COVID-19 since the beginning of the pandemic. 155,438 have recovered, giving us a recovery rate of 97.3%. During the same period, a total of 3,687 individuals have died of COVID-19 and 329 have died of COVID-19 related deaths, which gives us a total number of deaths to date 4,016. We have so far tested samples totaling 977,766. The number of people currently in quarantine facility is 122. I'll conclude with a message that although we are recording fewer number of new cases, we should at all time be vigilant and mindful that COVID-19 is still with us. And we should continue with the well-tested public health measures to prevent further transmission of infections.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Highly concurred, Doctor. But before you leave, we would like to hijack you for 2 minutes.
Sure.
As you are saying, COVID is still around with us. And then there is the continued messaging that is happening on social media platforms with regards to a new variant. And thirdly, we are seeing an early onset of our winter season. Firstly, can we confirm, Doctor, you're in communication with the medical fraternity across the world, WHO. Is there really a third or another variant that has come out? Because many are now starting to state it as if it's propaganda and people trying to scare others. Is there such a variant? Is there a new variant?
Yeah, thank you very much. Viruses, and especially the COVID-19 virus, the coronavirus, is mutating all the time.
Yeah.
In other words, it is for one way of protecting itself. So it's changing, time and again to be able to survive.
Yeah.
We are mostly only concerned with the variants of concern, which means variants that either are highly transmissible or they have a high virulence, which can cause transmission and illness and death.
Right.
Yeah. So far, especially here in Namibia, the variants which has been predominant, the Omicron variant, is still the same, the one we are having.
Okay.
And it's on the decline as we see that very, very few cases are being reported on a daily basis.
Okay.
You also mentioned the fact that winter is approaching, Yeah, winter can also be a factor in the sense that when it's winter, when it's cold,
Yes.
people tend to be together. They tend to be in enclosed setting, like rooms where there are no ventilation. All the windows are closed,
Yeah.
the doors are closed, so there is no air circulation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and if among those there is one who has got the infection, then the potential is there that the remainder may be infected.
Yeah, yeah.
The good thing for us is that quite a number of people have been vaccinated,
Yes.
and vaccinated is very, very much effective, and we still continue to urge more people to get vaccinated
Okay.
so that we can avert another wave or another upsurge in the
Yes.
new infection.
Okay. No, thank you very much, Doctor.
Most
Thank you
welcome.
for indulging us. You know, it's these moments that we would like to use to make sure that people have the right information.
That's most welcome. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Have a pleasant afternoon. Well, Namibia, there you have it. Thank you very much to Dr. Kalumbi Shangula for giving us the update for the 22nd of March. And as we have heard from him, yes, variants could be around because a virus is one that has a way of trying to protect itself from the various vaccinations that we come up with. But it is of high importance for us to continue with the regulations as much as possible, and as much as the mandatory factors has been removed from some of these regulations, it is actually quite vital for ourselves and those around us for us to continue practicing them. So please do sanitize your hands continuously and make sure that you frequently wash them with running water and soap, and also as much as possible, try and keep the social distancing and make sure that rooms are well ventilated. Continuing with this afternoon's discussion, we are looking at the annual commemoration of the Southern African Liberation Day. And in the studio this afternoon, I am joined by Dr. Marius Kudumo, who is a public policy analyst. And a little later on in the show, we will be joined by His Excellency Aser Kuveri Kapere, who is the Namibian High Commissioner to the Republic of, thank you, there he joins us, to the Republic of Botswana and SADC. Good afternoon, His Excellency. How are you this afternoon? And good afternoon, Dr. Kudumo.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
His Excellency? Okay. While we are sorting out our technical issues here in the studio, trying to get our Excellency Kapere on the line, we continue with Dr. Kudumo. And Dr. Kudumo, kicking off this afternoon, we would like you to give us a bit of a brief historic background on the formation of the SADC Liberation Day, and maybe just give an indication to the major objectives and goals of commemorating this day.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. The commemoration of SADC Day has a historical context in terms of the impact of what happened on what we have today in SADC.
Yeah.
Basically, it is the Battle of Cuito-Cuanavalle, 1987 to 1988, and the impact of that in changing the geopolitical developments in Southern Africa. In other words, South Africa was engaged in a war in Angola against FAPLA, the Angolan armed forces, as well as PLAN, the combatants of SWAPO then, and the Cubans and the Russians were also involved. Now, that defeat of the South Africans at Cuito-Cuanavalle led to the independence of Namibia, because 435, that was not implemented since 1978, when it was adopted. It was speeded up in terms of its implementation.
Yeah.
Those that can recall, there was a Brazzaville talks and other talks, and suddenly 435 was becoming a reality.
Yeah, yeah.
and the end of apartheid in South Africa, 1994. Before that, the release of Nelson Mandela
Yeah.
and other political prisoners. Angola itself also began to see actually peace and stability returning. That change of the geopolitical developments in Southern Africa, of independence for Namibia, the end of apartheid in South Africa, as well as peace and stability in Angola, necessitated that the leaders of Southern Africa, for us not to forget where we are coming from and where we are going,
Yeah.
have actually decided that this day needs to be celebrated.
Yes.
To reflect on the past, to see where we are,
Yeah.
and also to path the way forward.
Okay.
Basically, that is the historical context.
Yes, yes. Okay. I believe that that gave us actually a full context if we were to look at the points that came in, how you actually included the different parties that were trying to, fight off the South African armies, and how it actually not only led to just Namibia being freed, but also South Africa also, gained their freedom from that particular action at that point too. We have His Excellency Asser Kuveri Kapere, and we are connecting with His Excellency. Good afternoon, all the way from the Republic of Botswana. Good afternoon, His Excellency. How are you? Good afternoon, His Excellency. How are you? Technology is not being friendly this afternoon. We are definitely going to do our best to keep trying to make sure that we have him tap into the conversation for this afternoon. But we continue with Dr. Kuduma, who is in the studio. Dr. Kuduma, we want to also just find out from you, this day is actually very significant. And we want to know, how has the region assured that the significance of this day is transmitted and appreciated by the youth? Because as we know, it is the youth that need to carry anything forth, whether to the next generation that can be adopted by the next youth generation, and so on.
Yeah, I think the day was declared in 2018,
Yes.
which is not a long time ago. My observation is there's still a lot that we need to do for the youth, not only the youth, but for the peoples of Southern Africa to appreciate the history of where we are coming from. But specifically for the youth, especially in Namibia, issues of the liberation struggle and anti-colonial resistance is being taught in our schools as part of history.
Yes.
But history is not a compulsory subject for everyone in the school. Therefore, in the formal education system, it is being taught, but not everyone is covered.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There are also youth who are outside the school system, the formal education system. That's why we need to do more to sensitize and continue to make people of Southern Africa aware of the Liberation Day. I think also it's important for us to make resources available so that this history is researched and it is documented.
Yeah.
I think memorialization in history is critical for any society.
Yeah, yeah.
In other words, preservation of our histories and past events and linking it up now with development is actually critical. But to answer your question, it is taught in the school, the history of anti-colonial resistance as well as the liberation struggle. But I think we can still do more, especially in terms of further research as well as documentation.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we are not documenting it, those that were involved, they are aging.
Yes.
We might not have primary source of writing
Yeah.
about exactly what happened. So we can still do more, I think.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Dr. Kuduma made a very important point there. The fact that most of our elders who were present at most of these days, the activities of these particular days that we tend to commemorate as we adopt them, they are passing on because they are definitely aging. So the importance of documenting these events through their personal experiences is of high importance that really needs to be taken up by not only Namibia as a nation, but also SADC and Africa at large. I think we are naturally persons who pass on through vocal storytelling. We never really put down on paper, and I think that is what needs to really be strengthened. We want to welcome His Excellency back again to our show. His Excellency, how are you this afternoon?
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. This is His Excellency.
How are you?
We are well. We are well. This is His Excellency Asser Kuveri Kapere, who is the Namibian High Commissioner to the Republic of Botswana as well as SADC. Now, His Excellency, we would like to just tap right straight into it as we are looking at the annual commemoration of the Southern Africa Liberation Day. Dr. Kudumo here did assist us in giving us a brief historical background of where the day came from.
I can't hear you.
Dr. Kudumo gave us a brief background, historical background for the Liberation Day and why it was adopted. And we would like to just find out from you what has been achieved so far in terms of those goals and objectives, and what are the challenges thereof.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Taking it from this contribution, I must say that while the South region made great progress towards, and I quote, towards economic liberation, and quote, thus our shared vision of common liberation, which will ensure advancement of living and quality of life of our people, freedom and social justice, and peace, security resulting in the region remain partially liberated and we economic liberation better and economic independence.
Okay.
To accelerate the region's economic development in the state for the benefit of SADC citizens, states need to be guided by the vision and ensure the implementation of indicative strategic development plan 2020 and 2030, which are based on a firm foundation of governance and as three indirect
His Excellency
development infrastructure.
His Excellency will
integrate.
Sorry to break you there, His Excellency. We'll come back to the point just now. Let me pose the next question before we get to some of the agendas that have been put in place. I'd like to pose the next question to Dr. Kudumo. While we get His Excellency back there online, Dr. Kudumo, we all know this is it's not French or anything of the like, that it takes forever to build a national economy and more so the infrastructure that goes into building that particular economy. How is the importance of preserving peace, both in sovereign states and communities such as SADC? How is this linked to the building of these national economies and infrastructure maintenance?
Yeah, I think the question links very well to the point that I was trying to make previously. The need for memorialization, the
Yeah.
need for preserving. Southern Africa is a country that is coming out of conflict, out of war.
Yeah.
And those that were there have experienced what is the impact of war on development and socio-economic development in particular. War is about destruction. And therefore, peace in security is critical for development. When you look in the SADC Treaty, it talks about the promotion and maintenance of peace in the region, meaning in SADC. So peace, without peace in security, development is not possible.
Yeah.
We have seen it in Angola, you have seen it in Namibia, you have seen it in Zimbabwe, you have seen it in South Africa.
Yes, yes.
But it is important for us to realize that peace is not necessarily the absence of war. UNESCO, for example, say, when there is no war, it doesn't mean automatically there's peace.
Yeah.
That's why you must also look at what was the aim of liberation, the struggle for national liberation. In my view, it was about restoration of the dignity of people, especially the African people. It was about equal opportunities. It was about improved conditions of life.
Yeah.
Therefore, even if there is no physical war, like His Excellency the High Commissioner have indicated, we need to focus on the next struggle
Yeah.
of economic development, job creation, poverty eradication,
Yeah.
eradicating inequality, and dealing with improved human conditions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, to conclude, without peace and stability, development is not possible.
Okay.
But we must not only understand peace in terms of physical war, it is also about the conditions of people.
Yes. Well put. I think every day when that statement that they say every day you learn something new. This is that moment for me for the day. And I'm hoping that you, the viewer, is also able to learn and pick up something with regards to this particular day. As Dr. Kudumo said earlier on, it is a relatively new commemorative day, as it was only adopted in 2018 at the SADC, was it the SADC summit that was held in Namibia in 2018. So it is something that we can still work on to develop and find ways in which we can actually broaden its goals and objectives as well. And surely along the way we find our struggles and how to attain most of these goals. But it is a baby, as I said, and it is up to all of us as SADC country members to actually work and find ways in which we can do these things. And Dr. Kudumo's statements here are very important and things that we can take away and actually build on. You stated the memorialization. I still have some of these words that are tongue twisters for me. You're welcome to join us this afternoon in conversation. If you have questions, you are please welcome to also air them and ask them from Dr. Kudumo. And you can join that conversation through our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, Republic of Namibia. Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, Republic of Namibia. We are also live streaming through our YouTube channel. Our handle there is MICT Namibia. MICT Namibia. So, His Excellency spoke about a few agendas that were put in place, and I would like to get him back on the line. Okay. In the absence, while we are still trying to get him back into this conversation, maybe Dr. Kudumo, you can assist us with this next one. It is known, as you stated also, but early on you alluded to it, that the attainment of independence After that, the next struggle is the economic emancipation of any nation. And this is mostly done through sustainable socio-economic development. Now, with this notion, or in line with this notion, the SADC Vision 2050 and the SADC Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan 2020 to 2030 was developed. Can you give us a highlight of what these two each stand for and what it aims to achieve?
Yeah, I think as we have indicated, the leadership of SADC after liberation and the end of apartheid had a vision for the future. And that vision is about peace and security, but also about development.
Yes.
Also about the vision of a SADC they wanted to see. And it's basically a SADC that is at peace, and a SADC that is developing, and a SADC that is integrated and prosperous. In other words, they are infrastructural development, they are socio-economic development in terms of economic growth, but also in terms of the development of people. One of the things of colonialism, especially apartheid, and we must remember many of the countries in Southern Africa have what we call settler colonies.
Yes.
So Zimbabwe, Namibia, South Africa.
Sorry, Dr. Kuduma, before you continue with that, I have a caller on the line. Let's just entertain him quickly and then we get back to that point. Silas, good afternoon. How are you and welcome to the show?
Good afternoon, ma. How are you doing? How's your day? And how's your guest? And how's your sisters and brother in Namibia and SADC? First of all, I would like to say congratulations to our independence of the Republic of Namibia, which was passed on Monday. And we are here today celebrating the SADC Day, which is 23 of March. Congratulations to all the SADC states and to all the African states and to the global states that are also part of us in celebrating our mighty SADC South Africa nations in our republic. Thank you very much and a blessed day. To your program, my contribution to today is first of all, as we all wanted unity. Unity is a system that we put in place to all tribes. We have the largest among the Africa continent, the big tribes in SADC. We have the Zulu, we have the Swana, we have the Bambos here. We have different places in SADC which we have our denominations. My request to all these member states and tribalism states and our political represented as people in parliament, people in leadership, your excellencies, president and honorable ambassadors representing, and all protocol observed. As a youth of Namibia and SADC and Africa, I'm very appreciated for your leadership and for your progress that you are doing. But my connections to all is, my dear ambassador from the Republic of Botswana was just left now with a problem in internet problem. And he was mostly attaching and close it. But because of the connections, was a little bit difficult for him to connect in Namibia. First of all, I want to honor the Namibia MCC to also look upon this network in Namibia and the Botswana network system are there, and the SADC network system, and the Africa and the large. Secondly, my connections towards also development. We do not have connections, a one-way network connection. And this is a very, very important in the sense of economic empowerment in Africa and SADC. Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Angola, Namibia, South Africa, and all these states are mostly empowering in economic empowerment. It will raise the economic by sharing in common and also business-wise and also some infrastructures in the bordering of our particular borders. You understand?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my call also is that first of all, our money in Namibia, if we all think of, I am calling the SADC state, the chairman of the SADC, to look upon these issues. This is very important. Most of the citizens of Namibia traveling to South Africa, our money is still not in function in between Namibia, Botswana, South Africa. And this is a call upon the SADC state to look upon it and to see, yes, we are no more in colonized anymore. We are out of colonized.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we need to be fair in terms of all other issues that are concerning in the state of SADC.
Silas?
Thank you very much. Your blessed day.
Okay. No, thank you very much, Silas, for your contribution. I think they're well noted and they make good sense, actually.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Have a blessed day. Silas was looking into the, let's say, technological connection between our SADC nations and Africa at large, how they are quite problematic and can be a hindrance, with a good example of what we just went through now with trying to have our excellency from Botswana contribute to the show, but because of technical issues, we've been having these troubles. And I think he also spoke to how even our telephonical connections can be problematic. The other point that Silas also brought on was the currency, if I'm not mistaken, if I understood him correctly, how one country's currency cannot work in another country, yet we are all SADC members. Dr. Kuduma was stating something here that had a bit of reference to what he had later on spoke to with regards to the whole colonialism coming out of that. And you made reference to the fact that many of our countries had what they were called colonial settlements.
Settler colonies.
Settler colonies, sorry. Yes, so you can continue, Dr. Kudumo.
Yeah, I think maybe I must just link up what he was saying.
Yeah.
Regional integration is not possible without infrastructural integration.
Yes.
Whether it is through the network that he was talking about, or whether it is through our roads and so on. So trade is not possible without the infrastructure and the facilities through which this trade should take place.
Yeah.
And one of the important aspects that is emphasized in the SADC treaty is the fact that the peoples of SADC have historical, social, and cultural affinities.
Yes,
In other words, they are the same people, meaning that connections through traveling and so on is critical. And therefore, we cannot have development, we cannot have integration without the infrastructure through which the development is supposed to take place. What I meant with settler colonies is that you had racism and apartheid as an ideological aspect in these countries.
Yes.
But it was practiced in some instances by people who are actually have become part of those countries. In other words, after liberation or after the end of apartheid in South Africa, nation building is a key aspect in Southern Africa. And also regional integration in understanding that we are the same people is critical. And that's what I mean with memorialization, remembering where we are coming from, how solidarity and working together were the principles of our coexistence. Now we are moving away in SADC of the us and them, the foreigners and so on. While the treaties are supposed to be talking about regional integration. Integration means we are one region. People are supposed to move freely and easily. Business is supposed to move across borders.
Yeah, yeah.
And those are the aspects that we need to focus on. If one economy in SADC is flourishing and the other countries have challenges, whether they are political or economic in nature, people are going to move to those countries.
Yes.
That's why SADC as a region have to look into it, that we have common political systems,
Yes.
that all the countries are developing, otherwise we'll actually have those problems. So development, human development, infrastructural development, and the development of people's living conditions
Yeah.
are now the issues that we are supposed to be focusing on.
Very much so. I think what Dr. Kudumo, what you're saying is also brings us back to the core reasons why we would come to a point where we commemorate days like Southern Africa Liberation Day. I mean, many of our countries and our leaders within them have actually identified the fact that regional integration is quite important. I mean, we have examples of what is it that the plan that we had, the logistics hub plan, through which Namibia becomes the gateway for so many of our SADC regional countries. We have a lot of road infrastructures in most of our SADC countries being upgraded due to some of these connections that we're trying to create. There are changes in our passport systems that we're trying to bring in. So the us, we, them kind of plays against some of these efforts that a lot of our SADC nations are trying to adopt in order to bring growth, not just to individual countries, but to the region at large. So honestly speaking, we could actually do a lot of applauding to our leaders who are trying to really put in so much effort in making sure that most of these agenda dreams and goals and missions actually become you know, what do they call it? A reality, pardon me, a reality. Dr. Kudumo, as we wrap up our show for the afternoon, many of our social media viewers and so on had a topic with regards to one of our SADC countries whom unfortunately is currently engaged in a war currently. As we are aware, Mozambique is having a tough time with this war, and many would just like to know, as SADC, not individual countries in SADC, what is the SADC stance on this particular war, and what do all SADC member states, what have they done to silence the guns in these countries? It is very, very sad that our sister country has to be going through something like this. Do you have any maybe information on your observation, read-ups, and so on?
Yeah, look, that's why I cannot overemphasize memorialization to preserve and to remember what happened. The fact that we are independent and the fact that you have freedom in South Africa does not necessarily mean that global interest in these countries, including destabilization, have stopped. So the Mozambican situation is not just a Mozambique issue. It has global implications. But basically, we are aware that SADC have decided to intervene and address the situation in Mozambique. Some of the countries have sent troops in that country, and some of them have supported Mozambique actually through other means. But the point is just that if SADC is not involved in Mozambique, if that situation is not contained, there's no guarantee that it will not move to other parts of SADC.
Very much.
That's why in the Treaty of SADC, the common development, the common enemy, and so on is actually being addressed. But like I said, conflict is not necessarily only in military terms. We have to go to the deep roots of conflict. Sometimes the feeling of exclusion. Sometimes it's the human condition that people are not having the basic necessities. That's why political independence must be accompanied by the restoration of human dignity and the improvement of the conditions of people. Might take long, but we need to communicate that, to commit to that. Otherwise, we'll have the same problem. But of course, SADC have intervened in Mozambique.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Kudumo, thank you very much for imparting your knowledge and expertise on us. We would like to apologize to the nation for not being able to get Our Excellency Kapere Kuveri on the line. Again, unfortunately, as he is based in Botswana and our SADC headquarters are in Botswana, he would have been a great contributor to our discussion this afternoon, but technology is not always in favor, nor on our side. So hopefully we will be able to have another discussion where we can invite him and actually allow him to give us a bit more insight on what is happening on the SADC side of things and how far we have come as SADC member states, and some of these agendas that we have adopted over the years since its inception. We do know that SADC has been in operation for 42 years, Dr. Kudumo, am I mistaken?
Yeah, the formal, it started in the 80s, but the formal treaty was signed 1992 in Windhoek.
Okay. So we've had quite a journey as a region, and it would be good to have some of these discussions come to air so that even us, our Namibian people, or even the world, because we are on a global platform right now, can actually know what it is that SADC has been up to. But with that said, we would like to also thank you, our viewers, for partaking in the discussion this afternoon, for tuning in and getting yourself informed. The most important thing or message to carry home from this commemoration is the fact that we are one. The Liberation Day stands to speak towards unity, the fact that a united front when it comes to the struggles, whether it is the liberation for independence or whether it is emancipation economically, it's one that has to be done in unity, in uniform. That is the only way. As the battles of Quinto Valley were great examples that joint efforts can actually go a long way in liberating nations, and it is with the same form of efforts that we should attack whatever else that threatens our stabilities, not only as individual countries, but regional countries of SADC. With that said, I'd like to invite you tomorrow. Again, we're having a session. Please do join us for tomorrow's afternoon's session. We are looking at 32 years in perspective with regards to Namibia. From myself, Shianwa Desire Kahiha, and my production crew, please do have a blessed afternoon.